delighted to have this next fellow with us to talk about this, Walter Cunningham. You might remember that name. He was on Apollo 7, and that was our first journey into space, almost 2 years after the Apollo 1 fire that killed the astronauts on the launch pad. It was just in a practice venue. They all died, and it took upwards of 2 years for NASA to try to make sure safety and other issues were in place before he had that opportunity to fly again, and he was part of that mission. Walt, it's an honor to have you. Thank you for taking the time.
Well, it's nice to be able to talk to you personally instead of just listen on the TV.
Well, it's very good to see you, and I remember quite well. Again, that was a very big deal. We waited almost 2 years, and here, if you think about it, we waited for the chance to at least launch ourselves into space for the better part of a decade. How do you feel about all this?
Well, my attitude is, as I get older, I've got a broader attitude about it, and I am very pleased that we are handling our own and launching on an American vehicle and spacecraft and things today, because that's what we always counted on. But unfortunately, NASA, as they've been successful, and back when Apollo was through, there was no comparability with any other country in the world. But now, for the last 9 years, we've been along for the ride with the Russians, and I don't think they're ever going to be at the same level technically as we are.
You know, it's interesting. There were no private industry options back when you were taking your journeys versus what's available today. And SpaceX, through Elon Musk, is the first to really get a crack at this. There are others, as you know. Jeff Bezos has his own private space initiative. Richard Branson. What do you think of all of that? It's a different time.
Well, I have to tell you, I am so impressed at the way the American population has evolved. Although back at the beginning, I saw that as an objective of what we ought to be doing on it. I think the government, up through Apollo, did an amazing job. I was so pleased to be on that first manned Apollo mission. But as we started moving society broader and started picking up things other ways, all of a sudden we got more and more people trying to make money on it. NASA, in fact, was not out to make a profit. They were out to get the job done. They would do whatever was necessary to, it wasn't just to get a man in space, it was to land a man on the moon. I think it was a really fine government organization at the time.
You know, when I look back at your mission and the uniqueness of it, it was, again, the first chance to really get an Apollo mission going. Like I said, 2 years after that fire. And it was, I think you were circling there at the 163 orbits, tested everything out. You were the lunar module pilot, right? You didn't get to go to the moon. Apollo 8 would do that. But everything worked without so much as a problem. And I'm wondering what you thought of that then. I mean, we were waiting and waiting and waiting and dealing with all sorts of hiccups, and it went smoothly. And John Kennedy's dream to land a man on the moon could be realized less than 2 years later. What'd you think of it?
Well, I think that the attitude today when they talk about how it went and how you did it, back in those days, the mission and the hardware, it went the way we developed it. A lot of other people were involved, but I have to tell you, for example, you talk about the first manned Apollo. Wally Shaw, Don Isley, and I, we were originally scheduled for the second manned Apollo mission. And while we were going through the development and testing, after 8 months, they canceled that mission. When they did that, we then became the backup crew for the Apollo 1, well, it wasn't called one time, historically it's the Apollo 1 mission, Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee. And it must have been about 4 months later, they got killed in the fire on the pad, and about 2 weeks later, we inherited that mission, and you're right, it took 21 months in order to address anything that possibly could be a problem. So we fixed a lot of things. That doesn't mean you totally eliminate it, as you can see when we had problems come up with the rest of the Apollo program in there. But to this day, Apollo 7 is still the longest, most ambitious, most successful first test flight of any new flying machine ever.
No, you're right. Walt, and I do know a little trivia about you and Jim Lovell, who commanded Apollo 13. Your heart rates were always constant and low. I don't know how that was possible, but you maintained your cool up there when the pressure of the world was on you and your fellow crew members. Thank you for that, and thank you for your incredible service to this country. A great inspiration, especially now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Walt Cunningham, one of the originals, at a very scary time. Think of that. We can come through so much. And we look at everything going on in the world today. Been there, done that, triumphed over that. Stay with us. You're watching your work.